My younger self, what's your story?
To my younger self, what's your
To
story?
my younger self.
To 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 my younger self. To my younger self.
To my younger self, what's your story? To my younger self, what's your story?
Hi, good morning. Good morning. How is everyone doing? It is so wonderful to see you. Today is the second Tuesday of January already. Can you believe that? We are so grateful to be alive and God is so good. Today is January 10th, 2023. I cannot believe we're saying 2023, but we thank God for life. We are grateful to be here. My name is Zoe Baraka. Of course, the show is To My Younger Self, where we tell stories from our past that will propel us into the future. Before we jump into anything, let me first just kind of apologize to you. It's the last couple of weeks, the internet has been, like it would spin out a bit and then it would come back on. I am very, very sorry. We definitely understand the power of a seamless stream. Please do forgive us and bear with us. We are working on it. I don't know what it is. It must be the cold, maybe the wires are crossed and it's just really freezing. I don't know. But it's an exciting time, so just bear with us. Again, my name is Zoe Baraka, and as always, we always greet each other from different parts of Africa. So let's just jump in and do that. By the way, if you just came in on the show, do me a favor, go into the comment section and say hello to me. I want to hear from you. Say hello, say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are in the world, especially if you can do that in an African dialect. Do it in there. I want to learn it and I want to be able to greet you properly, perhaps when I meet you in person, right? Because we are communal people. Listen, where are you watching us from? Baraka da zua to you, Sanunku da zua. It is very good to see you. Kakwana lafia, yaya de. I am greeting you in the Hausa dialect. We're just saying, how are you? Welcome. Did you sleep well? It is so good to see you. Ya ken tuma fuduwela, tuma awela, tipose wanambaraka. I greeted you in my mother tongue, actually. Yeah, my mother tongue, because it's funny how we say mother tongue when we mean, especially if you belong in a patrilineal community. It's actually your patrilineal tongue, right? Okay, we're not going to go into it. But I just greeted you in my father's language, which is the Kasal from the northern parts of Ghana, West Africa. Yeah. Ndinao to you. Wezo, leke, efwa. It is good to see you. If you speak Ebe, I just greeted you wherever you're in the world. Thank you for joining us. It is good to see you. Etisen akwaba. Ohuntiseng yamawachi. It is good to see you. I greeted you in some variations of the Akan language. It is so, so good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Of course, Ibella to you, Ibiokibari to you. If you speak Moshi or Mori, Burkina Faso, some parts of this dialect, which is the Moshi. So I'm greeting you in that. Sawubonani to you. If you speak Zulu, I love the Zulu people. Man, they can dance, right? And they just up our numbers during the week. I love you guys. Thank you for always, always being so faithful to us. Te Oyo Tang, if you speak Ga. These are the holders of the land of Accra, which is the capital of Ghana at the moment, right? So Te Oyo Tang, Oje Ko to you, it is good to see you. If you speak Ga, I am greeting you. Lale to you. If you speak Arabic or Chadian Arabic, I am greeting you. Itwom Afe to you. Also another, just saying how are you in Chadian Arabic, I am greeting you. I am greeting you. Ekaro to you, my Yoruba people. How are you? Nagadef to you if you speak Wolof, Senegal. Man, I love these guys and I cannot wait to be in Senegal very, very, very soon. Okay, fingers crossed. Jambo, habari gani, habari ya osuboi. These are my Swahili people. Kenya, stand up. It is good to see you guys. Kotong to you, amohelang to you. It is so, so good to see you. Inyasi, Aloy, Domilake. Thank you for joining us. If you speak Bisa, I just greeted you. Thank you for joining us. Kotoli to you. If you speak Fufoldi and you are Fulani, it is good to see you. Akeyu to you, to our Ayiti Shari people. Thank you for joining us. Bom dia to you. If you speak Portuguese, of course, bonjour, buongiorno, buenos dias, imaraba to you. Thank you for joining us. Again, my name is Zoe Baraka. I'm going to go into the comment section to see who is here. Let's see. Beverly, thank you for joining us. It is so good to see you. Ooh. Auntie Dory, she says, yes, proudly Akan, my mother tongue. It is so good to see you. EJOD says, good morning indeed to you too. One of my very favorite authors, EJOD, how are you? It is so, so, so good to see you. Cafe, how is Canada? It is good to see you, my dear. So, so good. Listen, before we jump in, do me a favor and share the link, right? Just kind of go in there and say, listen, something incredible is happening to my younger self today. And why don't you jump on and let's tell and share stories together, right? I love you guys. Our audience is like incredible, right? Jose, it is good to see you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I am looking forward to hearing Nanikia's stories too. With that being said, how about we just segue into introducing Nanikia to you, right? Full disclaimer, I had to edit, re-edit, post-edit, triple, fourple, fifthful edit. Are those words? This bio, this woman, ooh, she is packing. You know what? I don't even know what to say. So please forgive me. I don't know that you for those of you who know her, you're going to say, wow, Zoe didn't say some of these things that she's already done or is doing. It's because if we were going to just read her bio, then that would take 3 hours. You know what I mean? We're not going to be able to do that. So let me introduce our next guest storyteller to you, Nana Akua Abuajua Mensa-Bonsu. She is the managing director of Primetime Limited, a communications company that offers services such as advertising, campaign/marketing, communication planning, public relations, direct community contact/experiential advertising, multimedia productions, that is TV and radio, publishing and marketing research. You kind of understand what I mean already, right? Miss Mensa-Bonsu has over 14 years of experience in planning and executing communication campaigns and has spent 11 of these years as lead consultant for the NSMQ. For all of you who are in Ghana at the moment, you know what NSMQ is. That is the National Science and Math Quiz, which has become a big buzz. Let me tell you, I get emotional during that season, okay? I am like rooting for Infantiman girls like crazy. And thousands of Ghanaians are doing the same. Indeed, it's become an African phenomenon. And this is the woman that is spearheading that, right? This NSMQ is the flagship program of Primetime Limited. She has bagged a lot of awards under her belt. I cannot mention them all, but here are a few. Advertising Association of Ghana, which is the AAG, in 2021, the gold category, branded PR in the entertainment category, Advertising Association of Ghana also Gangang Award she got in the silver category. There is just so many of them. A distinguished contributor of to STEM education in Ghana, Miss Mensa-Bonsu won the Millennium Excellence Foundation President's Outstanding Youth Prize for Excellence in Education. She holds a Bachelor of Arts in French and Spanish. Ooh, man. You know that's brains, right? With first-class honors and a Master of Arts in Communication Studies, both from the University of Ghana, Legon, and a Master of Arts in International Affairs in Communication and Developmental Studies from the Ohio University, which is Ohio, USA. There is so much I can tell you about her. Like I said, we're 10 minutes in already, and I could have been reading on and on and on. But ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, greeting all of our viewers on YouTube and Twitter. Please help me do the honors as we invite our distinguished guest, like we always do, onto my younger self. Say welcome to her. Give her some hand claps. Miss Mensa-Bonsu herself. Hi.
Hi.
Oh my goodness. You look fabulous. I love your hair. Oh my goodness. Woo. Wow, man, African women. I understand why some men go like, I need 3 of these women, man. This is crazy. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Thank you. I'm well, thank you. I'm doing well.
Oh my goodness. You know, my job is done. I have the best job in the world. I get to
You do.
I get to introduce people for like 11 minutes, and then after that, I'm done. The floor is yours. This show is now yours, and we are ready to hear stories. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Wow.
And thinking that my stories are worth telling.
They are.
I'm happy to be here. Last night I was going through and thinking, what can I say? What can I say? And I ended up having a lot of things that I've noted down just to help me, kind of stay on track.
Sure.
So
would you do me a favor
a brief
before we
introduction.
start, though? If you can just put your camera down a bit so we can see more of your beautiful dress. There you go. Fantastic. I love it. Now we go on. Over to you again.
Right. Thank you. So a brief introduction. I'm Nana Akua, Mensa-Bonsu. I guess that you would, those who've been following the NSMQ might be a little confused as to the name change. Yes, I have assumed my maiden name again. These things happen. It's for a good reason.
We move, right?
These things happen. Yes, yes, they do. Such is life. Yes. But I'm the oldest of 3 daughters, born to Dr. Kweku Mensa-Bonsu and how do I even start? And her ladyship, Professor Henrietta Mensa-Bonsu, Justice of the Supreme Court of Ghana.
Oof.
So a lot of responsibility and a lot of vim.
Full throttle.
From the beginning, yes. From the beginning. I believe that I had a happy childhood. We had a club. My cousins, I had two younger cousins, my 2 younger sisters and I had a club called the 4.5 Club.
Oh,
my youngest sister was the half, because she was much younger than we were in some ways, much younger than we were. Age-wise, we were all like a year or a few months older than each other, but she was 2 years younger than the youngest one of us. So she liked to tag along, and sometimes we wouldn't. I guess it was a control measure to keep her in line so she wouldn't snitch on us if we were doing anything naughty. So she was the half, and we kept changing the requirements for her to be a full member. The club was modeled on Secret 7. So we used to read Secret 7, and the club was, so we had passwords.
I remember that.
Yes.
Who remembers that? Oh my God. Totally escaped me.
Yes. So on Sundays we had the meeting twice a week and
Mhm,
twice a month on Sundays, and my mom would make us desserts that we could eat. So maybe scones
mhm,
or atromo
mhm.
or I don't know, bread and butter pudding, caramel custard, something that we would eat in there. And we had passwords, so everybody had to know the password so that we would let you in. And sometimes we didn't let my sister what's up, lady?
Because you wouldn't tell her the
The
password.
password, or we'll change it at the last minute. It was
Open
just to keep her in
sesame.
line. And I remember one Easter, I think it was an Easter of 1990.
Mhm.
We had a play. Maybe when I was thinking about this, I was like, well, maybe this was where the beginning of 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 my, should I call it, um presentation or storytelling,
Mhm,
you know,
communication and
skills
verbal
started coming
banter.
out.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow.
So I wrote a play called Amma the Lazy Girl, and we put it up. We put it up on Easter Sunday. We had a lot of guests, including my dad's then boss and great friend, Jake Obichebi Lamte.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Wow.
And halfway into the play, so the star of the play was my youngest sister
Mhm.
and Mamiya. And halfway into the play, she said she wasn't going to do it again. She didn't want to be, she was about 4 years old. So she
Mhm.
didn't want to be Amma the lazy girl anymore. She wanted to be Amma the good girl. And so she held the play up for about 20 minutes. She was
I
crying her
love
eyes
her.
out. And and my mom had to intervene. So I had to quickly change the ending of the play.
On the
And
spot.
on the spot, yes.
Oh
We
my
had to
God.
change that. And we got a rousing applause from everybody. And the first time I heard the word bravo, it was from Jacob Bichibilamti at
I
that
love
event. He
it.
was just impressed at how
Mhm.
we had to change the story immediately and get everybody, moving and end the play nicely. And
Wow.
yes, the first time I heard the word bravo, so
You
that
know, let me
was
ask you a
fun.
question.
Great. Yeah.
Where did you put this play up? Was it in your home
At
or your?
home, yes. At
Wow.
home, yes. So
Wow.
that day we had a lot of guests coming by, friends of my parents. My uncles and aunties were also there.
Wow.
So we had a lot of people in the audience. It was unexpected, but that's how it happened. And I took my love of acting and so
Mm,
on into other things. I remember that in Legon,
mhm,
I was part of the French club's drama group,
mhm,
and for 2 years,
mhm.
2 consecutive years, we went around playing Tartuffe. I don't know if you know the play Tartuffe by Molière.
Yes.
It's
How old
The
were you
Imposter,
guys?
also known as The Imposter. So we went around the Alliance Française, Accra, Tema, Kumasi, Cape Coast, Takoradi, putting up the play. Yes.
How old were you guys at this time?
Oh, this time was level 400, so I was about 23,
Oh
24.
my God. What a
And then
life.
yes, and then when I did my national service, so we went
Mhm.
around and put up the play.
Wow.
We had an interesting childhood. My sister and I, my younger sister and I, because we are close in age,
Mhm.
we used to play together, and so after school, we grew up mainly in Medina,
Mm,
and then we moved to Ashalibutri in 91.
mhm.
And Ashalibutri then is look totally different from what it looks like now. Right
Please
now,
tell me the differences. We want
it's
to know what's the difference.
lots of differences. Like the road from Medina to
Mhm,
Ashalibutri was terribly bumpy,
mhm,
huge potholes. When you were driving on it, you could drive for 10 minutes and not meet even a single car on the road. It was that quiet.
Wow.
It was that quiet.
Wow.
And lots and lots of uncompleted buildings,
Mhm,
bushes,
mhm.
lots of wild animals, snakes, scorpions, fireflies, which I don't see anymore.
Wow.
And after school, my sister and I would sit on our BMX bikes and and ride around.
I love that you qualified that. It's not a Schwinn, it's a BMX bike.
BMX. Yeah, well, after school, we would ride on our BMX bikes too. We said we were discovering Ashalibutri, and
Oh wow!
I guess I have always had an adventurous spirit, and that it showed from there. There was a year our friends.
So Nana, before we're gonna come back.
Right.
Let's pause here. There's a year your friend, so that's what we're coming back to. But producer Elsie has a question for you. She says, "How old were you in your directorial debut?"
If it was, I think it was 90. I was either 9 or 10.
Wow.
Because this was either we left that house in August of 91. So if it wasn't 90 Easter, then it was 91 Easter. Whichever way you look at it, I was either 9 or 10.
Wow.
Yes.
That is incredible. My goodness. Well, producer, I hope that answers your question. So we're not going to go back to, so you can pick up. You said there was a year you and your friends. Now
yes. This must have been Christmas of, I think, 92. So we put up a Christmas 9 lessons and carols at the Fellows Gardens at Equafo. Equafo Hall. Yes. I went to primary school at University Primary, and one of the teachers, my class 4 teacher, took me under her wing because she saw I was bright, but maths was a problem for me, and my handwriting was horrible. They always said she made me stay out after school to write, to practice writing. I hated it. But her daughter was my classmate, not in my class, in another class, but we were both in class 4, and she started giving us extra lessons. So we started going to her house for extra classes, and we become family. Over the years, all my 2 other sisters went through her also when they got to class 4. Yes, so they lived at the Aido flat D at on the campus of University of Legon, and so we played with all the children who lived in the flats, and we put the children in the flats. We put together a Christmas and 9 lessons and carols. And my dad recorded it actually. I don't know where that tape is, but we had it at the Fellows Gardens of Equafo Hall.
How old were you then? This particular one?
It must have been Christmas of probably Christmas of 92.
Oh wow! So then,
because my mom was the one who got us the place. Christmas of 91, she was out of the country. She started a PhD, but didn't quite finish for a number of reasons. And so 92, Christmas of 92, we had that. Wow. After that, the family moved away from Aido flat, and we kind of lost contact with some of those who lived in the flats, because some of them also traveled outside the country. Yes, but it must have been Christmas of 92. So I'd say I was about 12.
Right. Wow.
I'm an 80 born. So.
I love it. But seriously, so now go back to that story about the Christmas carol, 9 lessons in a carol. I mean, how did you put it up, and what were the, because you were probably 12. That's incredible.
Yes.
And you were together. Did you sell tickets? Who was in the audience? What happened?
No, we didn't sell tickets. We just announced to our friends and the families who lived in the flats, so they came to watch us, and other people who were there at that time. Yes. Wow,
man, that's the life.
Interesting. Yeah, I didn't notice that at that time. It was just something fun that we were doing, but I guess now in retrospect, I see that those traits were there from the beginning, and my parents were right to say that this job, being in the advertising field, and it's a storytelling area.
Yes.
Was a good place from that. It was a good fit. I originally wanted to be a translator. You did read that I did French and Spanish as my undergrad. Yes. I wanted to be a translator, but that didn't happen.
I see how
And
Nweki is like over here just kind of fangirling your French accent with the way you said a particular word, you know, I mean, so I can see you being an interpreter for sure. Wow.
so
Oh,
now that I'm talking about French and
mhm,
Spanish, let me tell you a story about year abroad.
mhm,
So I did year abroad in France,
mhm,
2003 to 2004. And on the day that we were supposed to report on 2nd October, and well, I had never traveled on my own before. I had traveled outside the country, but always with somebody, my
right.
dad or my mom,
Mhm,
somebody. But so my dad took me. We went to London first because he has family there, lots of family, his sisters, his cousins. His mom was alive then, so she lived there as well. And my aunt packed lots of snacks and drinks for me because she
mhm.
said that I was going to go to a different country, and I would probably not even know where to find food the
Oh
first day.
God, and they say the
So this was
French has
supposed
the
to.
best food.
Oh yeah, yes, yes, yes. They had nice food. It
Hmm.
wasn't everywhere though. You had to
Hmm.
know where to go
Wow.
for nice food. So my dad and I, we were supposed. I took the Eurostar.
Hmm.
I took the Eurostar from London to Paris,
Hmm.
and I remember that we had to take it on. I think Liverpool Street. I think it was Liverpool Street that we had to take the Eurostar, and my dad. I had to use my suitcase. The handle to push fell off, came
Hmm.
off, and when we got to, we couldn't find. So we were on the upper line, as in the
Hmm.
normal line, and we
Hmm.
had to go down
Hmm.
about 3 floors, 2 floors, 3 floors, something like that.
Hmm.
So, and we couldn't find a trolley.
Oh
So my
my
dad
goodness.
picked up my suitcase and put it on his shoulders and carried it down. I'll never forget that because it was a very touching moment that he did that.
Yes.
I
Wow.
I, I felt so much love, and I still do. I love that man.
Hmm.
He's a fantastic dad,
Oh
fantastic.
my goodness.
And we went
Hmm.
down to the ground, the underground part,
Hmm.
and I had just about 12 minutes to get my stuff on board, my ticket,
Hmm.
everything. I got on board, and then when I suddenly sat down, I was like, "Oh my god!" It hit me because I was like, "I am all alone." For the
Oh.
very first time, I'm all alone. I'm going to a foreign country. Yes, I speak the language, or so I thought at that time.
I love it.
And I cried my eyes out. I'm sure that the
Oh.
other passengers on the train were wondering what was wrong with me. We get to Gh and don't have coins for the trolley. Oh my god, nightmare.
Wow.
Everybody who's traveled abroad has
Mhm.
a nightmare story about
Right, right.
getting lost on the trains, and
Mhm.
I had those experiences as well. Difficult. Eventually, I get to Paris Saint Lazare, which
Mhm.
is where regional trains are,
Mhm.
and I meet my classmates because they had been traveling. They flew in
Mhm.
the night before, and they were there waiting. So we are all on the platform. We bought our tickets, waiting for our train, and they announced the train, and we don't hear it because French is spoken. They speak very, very, very fast.
They're
The
like
tempo
this
is
is fast.
really, really fast.
Oh
We
my.
didn't hear the announcement. So after a few minutes, I mean, the train left. And then we went back and said, "But where's the train?" I said, "Oh, that train just left." Oh my goodness. And that was just the beginning of all the confusion we were going to have. Until we learned to tell them that we were students and that they had to speak lentement so we could
Oh
catch what they
my
were saying.
God.
It was fun.
Say
I
that word
loved
again, because I know Nweki wants to. Nweki wants to definitely
lentement.
learn that.
Lentement means
Launchama.
slowly. Lentement.
Slowly.
Slowly.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Um, yes. But I loved the year abroad.
Mhm.
One of my stories of ingenuity. When we got there, I did tell you that it was October,
Mhm.
2nd October. We get there and then they tell us that it's so cold. We are complaining. and they tell us that, oh, they're going to switch on the heating on 15th November. And so until then, we should just come for extra blankets.
Hey,
Oh,
Ghana woman.
I'm telling you, Ayaka, we were cold. And then, because it's, we were in Caen. Caen is in Lower Normandy, which is just across the channel from England. So it's the weather is pretty much like English weather, wet.
Yeah, and then there's like the lake effect because there's
rainy
rainy water.
exactly
Freezes up real bad. Oh,
exactly.
wow.
Because Caen is like, I think, 25 miles away from Bayeux, and Bayeux is where they did the landing for this when they were liberating Europe.
Right.
The Second World War.
Yeah.
They landed on the beaches of Bayeux.
Right.
And Bayeux is just about 25 miles, I think, from Caen. So very close. We're very close to the sea. So it was rainy and wet, and it was cold. So I remember the one day I forgot to. So we lived in the hall. We had the university halls, which they call Cité. So I was in Cité Lebizé, but we were on the Zongo Lane side. the posh side
is
of the
hilarious.
same hall. Yes, it was a huge story building, 4 floors. The posh side even had card, access.
Hey, sir.
And then the Zongo Lane, most of where the African students were, that's where we were. And I was on the
no,
floor.
did you have to knock or you just enter?
So you enter the main door, and the main door, and there's a lobby area, and then there's an extension, a corridor that leads to the porch side.
Right.
And then you just turn, and then you're going up the stairs to the Zongo Lane.
This one I'm on
exactly. And so the first day we got there really late at night because after missing our train, and we eventually got one. The train that we were originally taking was the direct one. And the train that we ended up taking, which was the last train for the day, was the trotro one, stopping at every stop along the way. It took so long to get there. And when we got to Lisieux, which is probably about maybe 20 minutes away from Caen by train, there was an accident. Someone committed suicide on the rail tracks. Yes. So then they packed us all out, and we had to stand and wait for another 2 hours for the emergency services to come get the body, for the train to go back. Because after the train had the accident, they were not going to use it anymore. They had to file whatever reports and whatever. So we had to wait for another train. We got to come so late. We were tired. We were hungry. Oh my goodness, that night. And it was cold and rainy. And we get to our hall, Cité Lebizé. We enter, and then we go to the office. They had been waiting for us. So they knew that we had a problem. We'd had a problem on the way because of the accident. They knew it was on the news. So they were waiting for us. And I found that I was on the 4th floor. So, oh my God, how am I going to get all my stuff up the stairs? We get into the lobby, and I'm wondering how I'm going to go up. There were, I think, 3 of us who were on the 2nd floor, and 4 of us were up on the 4th floor and somewhere in other halls. And just as I was like, oh my God, I have to gather momentum to pick up my suitcase with the torn handle, and my Ghana must go with my food, my backpack, my this, my that. Some white guys came out of the posh part. They rushed in. They were like, "Oh, hello. Who are you? Where are you from?"
Sorry.
I said, "Ghana." I said, "Lo Ghana. Oh, Abedi Pele." I said, "Yes."
I love this.
Abedi Pele. He's my brother's friend because I do have a foster brother who's great friends with
Abedi.
with
Wow.
Abedi Pele. And it's like, "Wow, Abedi Pele." They picked up our bags up the stairs to our rooms. Can you imagine that? And the whole year. So when I called home, I told my brother, I need to talk to Abedi Pele. I need to say thank you to him because his name.
Oh well.
Oh my goodness.
What a story.
His name did wonders for us. So I guess when you're doing whatever it is you're doing, you're not always doing it just for yourself. Sometimes you're doing it for other people that you don't even know.
All the time, actually.
They didn't know us from Adam, but the moment you mentioned Ghana, "Oh, Lugana, abedi pele."
And they
Whatever it
just
is you wanted,
out.
we'll do it for you. Queues at the bank. So, oh, Lugana, abedi pele. Oh,
Man,
j'aime bien abedi pele. And then they'll call you and then do whatever it is you needed for you. It was an excellent. It was excellent. It was
this is
so.
serious. So
Yes. So I
serious
called
crap.
him and I told him to tell his friend that excellent. I think I spoke with him and told him that excellent ambassador for Ghana in a very unexpected way.
Yes.
It was wonderful.
Wow.
And then my other memory of a year abroad where I had to be ingenious. I didn't have a fridge, and I saw that people had hung a bag outside. Some of the whites, they hang a bag outside with maybe milk or something in it. So I called it le petit frigo. Frigo is like slang for fridge. Short, yeah. Because you say refrigerator.
Right.
But you say fridge short. So frigo is short.
It's short for
yes.
wow.
Yes. For frigidaire. So I'd go shopping, buy my stuff, whether it was meat, milk, whatever it is. I went and bought some twine and tied it to the legs of my study table. So I had white bag, blue bag, black bag, different bags that I put my different stuff in. So whatever I wanted, I only had to open my window, pull out whichever bag had whatever it is I wanted.
Because the cold, the atmosphere just kept it cold. What an ingenious idea.
Yes, because otherwise I'd have had to go ask somebody, can you keep this for me? And I hate doing that.
Wow.
From a young age, my mom started calling me Miss Independence because sometimes it gets in the way, but I don't like to be held hostage.
Right. So and also to be at a disadvantage.
Yes. So whatever it is I need, if I can help it, I'll do it myself or live without it. It's when I can't help it that I'll come to you. It's always been like that. So that was my petit.
There's a request for you. No, I think Noaki is just on your case. Noaki says, I need Nana Akua to say the Ghana, abedi pele.
Yes, Ghana, abedi pele.
So I can use it as a ringtone.
And they'll do it. In fact, that's how I even learned that Michael Essien was in France because I didn't know him. They said, "Oh, abedi pele, Essien." So,
okay, so
and then whatever to do
because Nwaki wants to use it as a ringtone, so we're gonna be quiet, and you're gonna say it like 3 times. Nwaki, are you ready? This is the fun, right? Okay, go.
Lugana, abedi pele. And then we'll do it. Whatever it is, they'll do it for you.
I hope you got
that was a great one. But yes, so I was telling you about feeling cold and all. One day I went to lectures and I forgot. I accidentally left my lights in my room on, and those were the red lights, not LED. This is 2003, so LED was not everywhere. Certainly wasn't for students.
No, not the Zongo lane.
No, not the Zongo lane. Maybe on the posh side, but not Zongo lane. So I left them on, and when I came back in the evening, I found that the room was much warmer. It was like those poultry farm lights.
Yes.
I found the room was much warmer than it was in the morning when I had left, and even though my training from Wesley Girls means that I don't sleep well, or at first I couldn't even sleep with the lights on.
Because the lights would go off at like 9 or something. That's like every like
yes. And I had to learn to sleep with the lights on to keep warm, and over a week or so, after about 3 or 4 days, I didn't even need the lights on. I turned the lights off at night, but keep it on during the day. And it kept my room warm because they hadn't turned on the heating. And they really didn't turn on the heating until 15th November. So my classmates came to my room. They were like, wow, this place is so warm. How did you get it warm? I said, I leave my lights on all the time. So they started leaving it. So the Ghanaian students, our lights, we were the first to have our lights changed because our bulbs just went off. We had overused them such that they burnt out very quickly.
Oh,
But that's how we managed to keep warm. And it was a cold winter. Khan hadn't seen snow in about 50 years.
Hey.
A friend's dad, yes, a friend's dad who was like 56 told us the same thing. It was on the news, it was everywhere. At night, even though I had traveled before and I had seen snow before, I had never played in it because I had seen snow in the Netherlands years before, but hardly snows in the Netherlands, and the ground is so salty. As soon as it snowed there, it melted.
Yeah.
We were on a train, so by the time we got to our destination, it had melted. But I saw it. I was like, okay, nice. But then this was my first real experience of snow, and for everybody else, even the whites in there, because remember, 50 years it hadn't snowed in Kong. And that night it was so exciting. Everybody, whites, blacks, Arabs, everybody got onto the streets. We were snowballing each other. It was so much fun. We took pictures. The following morning, we took pictures. And after 2 days, we were like, isn't this thing going to go away?
You get tired because now they pack it on the sides.
Yes, and it was cold. I was like, isn't this thing going to go away?
Wait, but then did they have like auto cameras at that time, or it was one of those you had to take the picture and then they go print it?
Yeah, we had to. There were digital cameras, but of course you'd have to go print
it. Oh my God!
Not like now. I actually did a slam book. Well, maybe I should have sent you some of those pictures.
That would have been
actually
so
the slam book of my experiences in France, and the French love demonstrations. They demonstrate about anything and everything.
Yes, like every G8 demonstration, you better know there's gonna be a lot of
yes, they demonstrate about everything. So I came back home 2004 to finish level 400, and all through that time, so this has been a guiding principle, striving for excellence from when I was young. If you got a prize, of course, you got an award from my parents, even my grandparents. My granddad always used to tell me that I was a first class baby because my mom had a first class, and she was one of two, the first women to get first class in
Ghana.
Law, in Ghana.
Wow.
So she and her classmate, Professor Anne-Marie Ofori, they were the first females to get a first class in Ghana in law.
Wow.
And she was expecting me at that time. So my granddad always called me first class baby. You have to get first class. So all through through my my childhood, he would call at the end of the term or beginning of the term. You had to call him and tell him what your results were and so on. And he promised me when I was going to level 100 that if I got a first class, he was going to give me a sheep. So first class Ujwain.
Hey, and the way in your first class video,
to myself,
promise of a sheep.
Yes, a promise of a sheep. And so he would call and ask, "Hey, Ujwain wo meaning the sheep is waiting. Are you doing the work to earn it?" And I'd say yes, I'm working on it. It was very tough. So every B or A every B plus or so I'd get, I was like, this thing is slipping through my hands. It was hard. It made me really, really work hard. And then in level 400, when I came back, my mom got my dad to promise me that if I got first class, I was going to get a car.
Hey, Ayaka, vroom vroom. Yes.
Oh yes. And so when the time came, I gave my grandfather a call and said, "Me beji me join. I'm coming for my sheep." It was so exciting. It was so exciting. So he brought it. I got my sheep.
He brought the sheep,
and I got a purple Opel Corsa, which I named Modzimbo. Titi for short. Modzimbo means like great efforts,
Yes, you
hard
did
work,
well.
great
Yes.
effort, hard work, something
Madambo.
like that.
And
Mazembo.
Obi
And
card Charlotte, yeah, changing.
and called it Zizi for short. And
Oh
well,
wow.
I'm happy to say that the challenge was also given to my sisters, and they
Mhm.
saw me do it, and
So
so they
they
did
did.
it, and they did even better. They had even
Wow.
better grade points than I did. So
Legacy.
yes, they
Legacy. You know,
yes.
Nwaki's on your case today. Nwaki says we need to see the slum book, please.
Oh, you are gonna have to give me a few minutes to go and look for it.
No, no. You know what
It's
we're gonna do a little sidebar later, Nwaki.
right,
You know, when
right.
she after the show she can go and bring in, we'll do a recording and then post it during the week. Like this is the
Okay,
slum book. You know
okay.
what I mean?
The
And
slum
then it'll
book,
be a
right,
different yes, we'll do it that way.
right, right, right. So
Wow.
I'm sharing this to
Mhm,
show that uh, even where you are
mhm,
motivated,
mhm.
you still need people to push you, and you can do well.
Yes.
I hope somebody is encouraged. I
Yeah.
think that for parents, and you notice that I was talking about my grandfather
Yes.
falling. For
Yes.
parents, it's very important to stay connected to the
Mhm,
children and to be interested,
mhm.
even if you don't understand what they're
What
doing,
they're
to
doing.
be interested in
Yes.
their academic progress.
Mhm. Yes.
Because if you set them these give them these motivations,
Mhm.
you help push them.
Yes.
And sidebar, I must say though, when I went to do my master's in Ohio,
Mhm,
I must say that I was excited that for the first time in my life, I could cut
mhm,
classes
mhm.
without being reported to my parents.
Oh my God. Gee, we see yes.
Ah, there'll be any, mommy's not here, daddy's not here, no friends, no anybody to report me.
Hi.
Yes, yes,
Wow, but Audrey had a question earlier on. She says she
right.
wanted someone to remind her of your name and what show or program you used to host. So, did you used to host a program?
No, no.
Okay. So, Audrey,
I
there's
think
your
it's just
answer.
seeing me on the NSMQ
Yes, and also like your
because
face is just one of those faces that's like, hey, I know that face. You know, famous by proxy. That's me, by the way.
yes,
What a
unfortunately,
powerful lesson, though, for
yes,
parents. That is just, and
yes.
I like what she said. Be involved even when you don't understand what they're
What
doing.
they're
You
doing,
know,
yes,
because I think for the most part, most African parents kind of detach and they just say, well, I'm paying school fees. What else do you want? And don't necessarily get involved. And sometimes, if you're not careful, that's the biggest slight you can actually do for your kid because you're not involved. But the
yeah.
promise of a ujai and a car,
Yes, yes.
even if your parent is not able to do that, but the simple act of calling and just saying, "How is it going?" And
How's
you
it
say, "Dad
going?
or Mom, I'm having an issue with the class," and they just talk about it, and even if you don't get it, that goes
Yes,
a long way. I like that you said that. So,
yes,
lesson for up and coming parents and those who are parents right
yes,
now, I think please stay involved. Okay.
yes,
All right.
yes.
Back to you.
Back to me and another story. So, uh, hmm, the beginnings of how I got involved with prime time and the NSMQ.
Yes.
I think,
By
like I
the
said,
way,
I
Chale,
think.
this infant man must win. Like, wait. Like, I'm not even joking.
The girls' schools have other challenges, but in fact, man
I
has been to the
know.
finals
Mhm.
before, so it's something that they can do and do very easily. It's
Wow.
just it's just the
Hmm.
preparation,
The
having
preparation.
enough time,
Yes.
having enough time, because they
Fancy-man
choose their
girls.
students a little too
Obraniwarapo.
late. Yes,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
the girls' schools choose their contestants. Sometimes they choose them after mock, which is Form 3. Meanwhile, the boys have been practicing since Form 2,
Since Form 2,
competing amongst
sometimes
themselves. Yes,
end of
so it's
term Form
difficult.
1. Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
No.
yes. So it's difficult for them to catch
Wow.
up.
See,
So
now,
let me tell you a story
go ahead. Yes.
about starting with prime time. So after SSC, remember in those days we used to wait for 2 years before going into um, to university. You had to wait. There were 2 batches waiting every time.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yes,
Wow.
yes.
Okay.
And so after SSC, I was home for a month in January, because we used to write SSC in November, December. So after the new year, my mom calls me and tells me, go and learn how our money is made. So I went to prime time as an intern, and I went to every department. I started from the reception. So
Wow.
I'm I know how to file letters. I do my letters, typing. My mother taught me to touch type. After BEC. After BEC, we stayed at home for 5 months. We wrote BEC in August 95 and went to school in February of 96. And within that time, from October to December of 95, she was a visiting lecturer at the Faculty of Law at University of Leiden in the Netherlands. So she went along with me, and I had to help her with her research. So I learned how to do table of contents and bibliography. I turned 15 there.
Right. Wow.
I turned 15 in November of
that year. Right. Wow.
Of 95. Yes. So she taught me to touch type. I had to do the table of contents, bibliography, and do some research. So even though I didn't do law, I know a lot of law cases, because I had to at least do the titles for her, and then I read a lot of the cases. I didn't have much to do. I was like an only child in a foreign country. So back to this story. I already knew how to touch type, so I learned to file documents. I learned to do formal letters, type it, the numbering, the spacing. I had learned all of these things. I moved to different departments: media buying, graphic design. But I spent a lot of time. I was my dad's PE, and I spent a lot of time with the client service team. So I was a production assistant on the NSMQ.
Oh my goodness.
Prof. Marian Adi, yes. I used to help her dress up, do her makeup for her, because I've always been good with makeup. I don't know.
I mean, look at you now. Yes.
Being good at and so I used to help her with her makeup. I used to make the students up, like powder their faces for them to go up on stage.
Wow.
Yes, on camera. And then I used to go buy snacks for the crew, like make sure everybody was comfortable. So when I took over years later, I knew exactly what to do. I knew where the gaps were, and it was one of the first things I did was to make sure that Prof. Kaufman had a room to herself where she could change her clothes and relax a bit in between contests. I gave her production assistants to iron her clothes. I got involved in getting her accessories for her clothes. So we'll go and do the beads. I'll take pictures, give to the production assistant. This dress A goes with bead, or necklace X. This one goes with that one. That one goes with that one. And then they had to. There was a lot that I didn't have to learn when I got onto the job, because I already knew how it worked because of my internship. I always say that I grew up on the quiz first as an observer, go and watch it, and then as a production assistant on it, and then actually running it. And I think that those are lessons for entrepreneurs who want their children to succeed them, because they say there's no real success without a successor.
Yes.
I don't know who said it, but I know that Mrs. Champon, former Wesley Girls headmistress and former deputy director general of the Ghana Education Service, said something like that, and she has that in her book. There's no real success. I think that's what it said. No real success without a successor. And so this is something that they did to help me learn, and that's also how I've been recruiting my team members. I have a very young team of energetic, because this social media, I'm not that great at it. That's why my age shows. I think I'm young, but that's where my
serious.
So that's how I recruit them. since 2014, almost everybody who works on the team now
Mm.
came in as an intern, including the one who runs it as
Wow.
the production, yes, as the production coordinator. Almost every one of them, because it's a very good way to see who's a good fit. It's a good
Yes.
way to see those who go beyond the call of duty,
Yeah.
because our work is high pressure.
Mhm.
It demands a lot of sacrifice, long, late nights, working weekends for the show. You know you're in this
I know. You're
industry,
up.
so
Yes.
if the work has to get done, it has to get done. It doesn't
Wow.
matter whether it means you having 2 hours of sleep,
Yes.
5 days in the week. It has to get done. It will get done.
Wow.
So it's a very good way to observe those who think on their feet.
Yes.
It's good to see those who are lazy. It's a great way to. So everyone who works on the team, almost everyone, who certainly all my hires from 2014 have all come in as interns, working on different aspects of the program.
Yes.
But I want to go back to the
Yes.
internship
This
time.
is a very good point that you made. But yeah, finish the story and then we'll Wow.
So the other side of the story, when I went to do my internship,
Mhm.
My first month, most of the time my dad would take me out to lunch when it was lunchtime, and they used to have lunch at Cornet Restaurant, which is the old I think old Apollo Theater, Asylum Down.
Oh wow.
And so I would go to lunch there, and then there's a time that he started giving me money. In those days, we used to spend thousands of CDs. It was what 2,000, 5,000. You know that 10,000, 20,000 CD notes were introduced in 2000. So
Yeah.
my story is 99 to 2000, because I went to university in August of 2000. So 99 to 2000. And I remember that he'd give me 5,000 CDs, and I'd use that 5,000 CDs. I said I didn't want to be wasteful. So there was this place, I've forgotten the name of the place, at Trust Towers, where they sold food, like something like, on the level of papaya. Something on the level of papaya. But I was like, if I spend my money on that, then it means that I can only buy food maybe once with the 5,000, or at most twice with the 5,000, and then the money would run out. So what I used to do is I'd go to Champion House with the rest of the staff, the team, and go buy there. But I'd buy a drink, maybe buy some biscuits, that kind of thing. So that 5,000 will last me for maybe 2 days. I might have a little bit left over after the 2 days. Then I'd go back to him, and he'd give me another 5,000, and I'd spend it. Wow. And my mom was paying for my hair, so this was
wow.
Then after my first paycheck, after my first paycheck, I go to work, first day at work, and it's lunchtime. I go to my dad. Oh, daddy, it's lunchtime. He said, say it, okay. But you have been paid. But you have been paid.
Yeah.
Use your money. And that 5,000, I used to spend 5,000 a week.
Oh my
God. A week. I cut out the drinks.
My God.
The biscuits and everything else, and the fancy food. Yes, that 5,000 will last me a week. And it taught me a good lesson about myself, not just myself, but it taught me a good lesson about free stuff, free food, free stuff. And I did this to my daughter. So I have 2 daughters, an 8-year-old now and a 6-year-old. So when the 8-year-old was in grade 1, she used to lose her water bottles all the time. And I remember this was just before the lockdown, 2020. By the middle of that term, she was on her 7th water bottle, which was my water bottle. Very careless, losing her water bottles. When she was on the 6th one, which was also my water bottle, I promised her that if she lost that one, she was going to pay for her next water bottle. And then she lost it. So that morning, when I found out that she had lost it and she had to use another water bottle of mine, I told her we were going to buy a water bottle that day. So I took her piggy bank along with me. I picked her up from school with her piggy bank. As soon as she saw the piggy bank, she started crying.
Oh.
We went to the shop and she chose the bottle she wanted. I guided her to choose one which was reasonably priced and which would last longer. So it was like an aluminium bottle with a plastic top. She bought, so she said she wanted that. I said, fine. We went to the till and we went to the till and they told us how much it cost. I've forgotten how much it was then. I took the money out of her piggy bank, gave it to her,
To
and
give
told her
it
to pay the woman.
that will pain.
So she gave it to the woman, and she got her change back. She burst into tears. She cried all the way home. And you know what? It was only they went back to school in 2021.
Yes.
Back to regular schedule in
Right.
2021. Yes. She used that bottle until last I think September or something, when the bottle it had hit the floor so many times that I think there was a bit of a hole. It was leaking.
Yes, and it was
and
leaking.
I bought her a new one. Yes.
Hey.
She didn't lose, and she hasn't lost a bottle since because she knows what's gonna happen. See, the piggy bank, I try to put in coins like every week, but if you do well in school, maybe end of term, I may put in a 20 or even a 50, maybe your birthday, I might put in a 50 or something. The tradition is that at Christmas we go out to shop, buy toys. So you use the money in your piggy bank. So they count it regularly. They count the money in the piggy bank to keep track of it.
Oh my God.
So we go to the shop. You choose whatever toys you want. And if it's not enough, I supplement. But yes, she used that water bottle until last September. Yeah.
Hey.
When it's your own money, yes.
Wow, but this
When
is
it's your
so
own money,
true. Even
the
as
way
a
you use it is different.
get
Yes.
your own paycheck, you're
Yes.
just like, you're very careful. But if
Yes.
someone was just like, oh, let me dash you 20, that 20
Yes.
there, this is
I
dash
woof money, and you spend it. It's true.
that
It's
20
very
there.
true.
Wow.
When it's your
So
own money, we have
hard-earned
sweated
money,
for.
yes. And
You
it's
use it
funny how for
differently.
your daughter, it kind of technically is still not her money though. It's like your money, and maybe she does
But
house chores and other things and she
yes,
earns it. But the
yes,
fact that it's qualified your money,
yes,
you know,
yes,
what a lesson.
yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. There's so many, like, the chat room is, I wish we could just go into the chat room.
Right.
Somebody wrote, oh my God, Elsie says, or chat.
Oh, Chiala. Oh, yeah, yes. They know it. They know it.
Sadie says, Ochina Subiom, she learned how not to lose a water bottle.
Yes. How can you lose?
Says, next
How
time
can you
again.
lose? Yes. How can you use 7 water bottles in 7 weeks? Why?
Wow. Wow.
Yes,
I think a little while back I saw Uncle Fisho in the chat room and he says,
oh, hey, yes. He was my blue section teacher.
oh, what does that
He taught us.
mean?
So he did his national service at University Primary.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he taught us this chant. Good show, blue members. Good show, blue members. So because blue we were often last. And I was a sprinter for blue.
Wow.
Yes, sprinter, 100 meters, 200 meters, skipping race. And then I did 400 in Form 3. But when I went to Wesley Girls, my house, Woodbrew House, we had enough sprinters, I think. And we were not even that good. But we needed a high jumper, and they forced me to go do it.
Oh, Charlie.
And I realized that I was good at it. I actually used to do the flop. I don't look like it now, but
wow.
I used to do high jump. And I actually did. I was actually, I saw my certificates recently. I was actually third at Superzonal.
Hey.
Well, fifth at Superzonal, third at Interco. And then when I came to Legon, my first year, I was third in high jump. but I got into bad habits. Eating late, eating eggies, brodos, and 1 liter Coke at 1 a.m. at Latifa's joint at Legon Hall, the Legon Hall
Wow.
volleyball and handball courts. That area, that was the night market.
Wow.
And I got into the bad habit of eating 1 liter, eggies, brodos, and 1 liter Coke at
Hey,
midnight
Charlie,
or 1
I got that
a.m.
1 liter. Back in the day, if you just make a mistake and you're walking in Legon, and I don't know why the guys used to do that. They would just come out of their windows. I think now, looking back,
Coco.
they'll say Coca-Cola big enough to share.
Big enough to share. That was the tagline. So if you were a little plump, then they'll be shouting Coca-Cola big enough to share.
Which now I'm realizing that was very chauvinistic a little bit. It was actually not a good thing. But
yes.
Wow, but you see, the DJing thing was definitely an Uncle Fisher way back then with his, good show.
Yes,
incredible.
We used to remember him. I mean, my classmates, those of us who were in blue, because blue was often last.
Oh wow!
Blue was
and he would still give you funds. Good show.
And I think that was class 4. I think that year we were first or something. And then I think he started another chant. I forgot. Is it okay? Then we shout, what are we saying? We are first. And it was great.
Hey, Uncle Fisher, this thing, you've been at it for a long time. I love it. But see how it psyched you guys up and you were now winning, right?
Yes.
That is incredible.
Yes,
the power of
we did well that year. We did well that year. We didn't do that well until I left. I hear they win now, but while I was there, blue was either third or last, always.
Blue color. Oh wow. See, now I remember. And green, we were pretty cool. Like
green was always either third, something like that. Usually red or yellow.
Red, yellow,
usually
green,
red section.
Blue.
They used
it's
to.
the way they even do it. It's also red for just by being at the top, they will already be winning. Then the yellow will come, green, of course, blue. So it's.
I see if you show in the.
Yes, he says.
So you don't know.
I have to rewind and listen.
Blue members, pop. Hey, then you got us clapping, pop. Hey, Charlie, that was
Uncle Fisher. So Nana Akua was telling us about how you used to, be section leader for the color blue, and you were doing good show. Blue.
He wasn't the section leader. He was the teacher, like
the assistant,
helping us. Yes,
wow.
Helping us to train, and because every teacher was affiliated to a section.
Wow! Oh my God! Well, it's been so incredible. I've absolutely loved your stories. Hey, you've lived. You have definitely lived. When you were talking about, Paris and, the snow and everything, and I remember the story of how I underestimated how icy, after a snow, whatever it would be when you were at JJC, like you just arrived.
Yes.
And the slip I had and the tumble, my God, that day.
Sorry.
Gee, I think everybody has a story like that, like those stories.
Yes, you have. Yes,
or you would wake up in the middle of May and see the sun high up, and you would think, it's sunny. So you would go out without a jacket, and then that whole day you're miserable because it is mad cold in May.
Yes.
Oh my God!
It was one of my culture shocks to find that the sun had nothing to do with the temperature.
Yes, me too.
And that, but I realized also that I was always more cheerful when I saw the sun out.
Yes.
Than when
it's gloomy and all that. Yes. And no matter how cold it was, as long as the sun is up, you just kind of, your spirit got lifted.
Yes.
And maybe there's a correlation there why we're not going to say all Africans, but most Africans have a happy disposition because the sun is always up. The sun is always up. And I think God loves Africa so much. He's just given us an endless supply of sun. Wow.
yes. It,
Wow.
it, it made a whole difference. I think that was my first. So traveling with my mother in
Mhm.
October to December in the Netherlands, I think that's when I realized that
Mm.
I didn't want to live outside. As early as that, I
As
knew the
wow.
weather was
Mm.
yes, yes. I
Yeah,
I I,
some of us
I
it took
was
a while.
cold. I didn't like that.
Mm.
I knew that I didn't want to live outside.
Wow.
Do we
Wow.
have time for another story, or we're
Yes,
done?
let me tell you. Okay, how about we do? We're always doing a poll in with our audience. So,
Right.
audience, I hope you're ready, guys. We didn't even get a chance to greet you guys yet, but I see all of you, Professor Audrey. I see you, Elsie Dixon. I see you, Sebi. I see you, Doris Eshen, Kofi in Guelph. There's so many of you. I'm trying to go through it. Of course, Nweki has been here. Man, today she came with full vim. It's like she came for Nanekia today. That one, there are no two ways about it. And everyone else who's joining us on YouTube, I know Antiaraba is watching. I know her ladyship might be watching. We greet you, your ladyship. Thank you for joining us and watching with us and, kind of reveling in the stories that Nanekia is graciously sharing with us. I think I just saw Maji Marj on YouTube. Guys, thank you so much, so much for joining us. And what we're going to do is, if you want Nanekia to share one more story, please put your hand up. I'm waiting for 3 people to say yes, and then we are kind of, we're in business. Let's see what Audrey is saying. Oh, okay. Well, I'm waiting, so I'm gonna read some comments whilst we're waiting, right? Well, here is one. Sadi says, "Please go ahead." Why, Nanekia? I am late for work, but another story won't hurt. Hey, Chale, paycheck na here. Okay, well, we have said yes to my younger self, according to our communications director. Nweki says yes. Auntie Bole says yes. Girl, keep yes. One more story. We got time.
Oh, I just seen that a rebel says a Wesley Girl story. I wasn't thinking about Wesley Girl story
Oh,
and the
Chale,
woman. I
the yellow, green,
I have
you people, they take over too much. Where are my purple girls now? And this is not cool. Fancy my girls.
oh,
All
I
right.
wanted to share this story about you know sometimes people think that uh, I mean, when you mention my background or something like, oh, you're born with a silver spoon in your mouth, kind of thing.
Mhm,
Um, the company was set up by my father.
mhm,
Yes,
mhm,
NSMQ was set up by him, and I
mhm.
took over. So that in itself is a good story of the
Yes. Mhm,
succession, the
mhm,
change. But I wanted to give a little insight. When we talk to young people, we're always telling them, "Oh, you have to be." The government can't take up everybody
mhm,
in the workforce. You
mhm,
have to be an entrepreneur and whatever.
mhm.
I ask them, but have you told them what it really is like to be an entrepreneur, what it's really like to work for yourself, and especially for the females, what
Yes.
it's really like to do all of that.
Mhm.
I want to share a story.
Yes. Go ahead.
Um,
Wow.
I say that it's great to be an entrepreneur and to
Mhm,
and to to work for yourself because yeah, there are some benefits. You also have a lot of flexibility in
mhm,
your timetable. I'm here talking to you, for
mhm,
example, right in the middle of the day.
mhm.
You have a lot of
Flexibility.
flexibility with your
Mhm,
timetable, how you spend your time. But I also want to emphasize that you are always the last man or the last woman standing.
mm.
Where your team can't go, you must
You
go.
must go.
And this is my story.
Mm,
In 2016, the NSMQ now we are holding it in November, October because of COVID. COVID
mhm.
distorted the
Yes.
school calendar.
Yes. Mhm,
But June is NSMQ time. Everybody knows that
mhm,
June is NSMQ time. And my younger daughter,
mhm.
Irama, was born on 11th June,
Hey.
right in the middle, yes, of 2016, right in the middle of NSMQ, and I knew that I had to prepare the team, and so I did a lot to make sure that I could go and have my baby in peace.
Mhm.
Everything would be in order, and so that even if things went wrong, they wouldn't go too far wrong.
Mhm.
So 11th June, I have my baby, and about 10 days later, I had her by cesarean section,
Mhm.
and about 10 days later, maybe even less, I get a phone call. The previous month, we had done so the previous months, we had done a job for the 10 partners.
Mhm.
We had put together a quiz on science and maths, oil and gas for the
Oh.
10 partners.
Mhm.
So that's Cosmos, Talo,
Mhm.
Anadako, I don't know why I can GMPC.
Mhm.
This is a fifth one. I've forgotten what the company's name at the moment.
Right.
This was to help the schools in the Western region.
Mhm. Mhm.
So we did a prelims and a semi-final earlier in the year. I think it was March, right after NSMQ or before NSMQ, and then I mean the NSMQ regionals. You know, we have NSMQ regionals before the national championship,
Yes. Yes.
and then the week before the NSMQ national championship, we had the finals of the 10 quiz.
Mhm.
I couldn't go to that one because this was 2 weeks before I had my baby, so I couldn't travel. You know, you never know what could happen if you went away from your regular hospital and all
Mhm.
of that. I didn't go, and so I get this phone call, and I find that we have to present our reports a month before the time
Mhm.
because there were um, should I say maybe senior management from overseas
Right.
coming to visit, and they needed to show them all the things that they had done. We had done a documentary on the whole program.
Wow.
We had shot that, but we hadn't edited that. So
Mhm.
that one is not a problem. You can get even a freelancer to do that.
Yes.
But the
Mhm.
report has to be someone who was there or who understands what the
Wow.
program was like. And when we are on location for NSMQ, all hands on deck.
Yes.
Even our HR is involved somehow.
Mhm.
Our front desk people are involved somehow
Everybody.
because
Yes.
everybody, because there's a lot of work to do. A lot of work.
Yes.
A lot of work to do. Just to give you an idea, we have 135 schools competing,
My
usually in Accra. We
Hmm.
provide accommodation, food,
Yes.
transportation. Then you have the production itself. We record 3 contests each day, 6 days a week, because
Yes.
we do 76 contests
Mhm.
within that month. And each contest, well, at the beginning of
Had
at
you
the lower
seen
level, is
my
a
whole body just froze up thinking about it. Do you guys even understand what this is?
so that's why I said that is a good way to be able to assess who's a good fit, who's lazy, who goes beyond the call of duty, who is hardworking, who it's a
God,
great time because the demands. I say that doing the NSMQ is like it's like having a wedding, holding a wedding every day of the week for a month.
for a month.
Because anything and everything that can go wrong will go wrong.
Yes.
Anyway, so so we are in the middle of NSMQ. My team is exhausted already. They have so much work to do, and I need the report
Mhm.
for the finals from them. So I got them to do it. One of the reasons that I had to push myself to do it was not just because the client needed it, but also because we hadn't received the funding needed for the program. We were pre-financing.
Mhm.
Excuse me. Money was really tight, and at that moment, I did not even know how I was going to pay my team for June.
Eish.
I didn't know how I was going to pay salaries that month. So I asked them if we are able to submit to you a month ahead of the time, are you going to pay us the rest of the money
Mhm.
immediately? And they said yes. You would have discharged your obligations to us, so
Wow.
we'll pay you if you can submit by the first week of July. Now, my baby was born on 11th, and I'm talking about 10 days afterwards. So this is about the 21st.
Jesus.
It was difficult. So I got my team to write the report. What helped me was because I was so hands-on and so involved in everything, all the projects that we do. I had been keeping track of the reports, doing all the proofreading
Right.
and editing of all
Right.
the reports. I still do that. So I already had the previous reports we had done, the other activity reports, and I had to put everything together. So I had to get this activity report separately and then put everything together in the final report. So I already had all of that, and I already knew what was going because I was with them throughout. It was only at the finals that I couldn't go because I was so close. It was so close to my having my baby and to the delivery date. So I had to do the work myself. I got that final bit from my team member, and I started working. My baby was so young, only a few days old.
Only a few days old.
I put her by me. I'd sit in my room morning till night, days on end, because I was putting together a whole report. It was a lot of work. She'd be crying. Sometimes I'd put her on my lap while I was typing. It was so hard. And I managed to submit it. Managed to submit on time, and we got paid, and I was able to pay my team.
Oh my God.
But what also happened was that because I was spending so much time, this was my second baby and my second cesarean, and so I wasn't able to heal as I should have been, because I was not just the rest, but you need also to give it air. You are sitting up and the tummy is covering the wound. It got infected, and I had to go daily because of the heat and the water and everything. It got infected, and I had to go for daily dressing. I had to go to the hospital every day for dressing for that. Now, if I had been a regular employee, my boss would never have dreamt of calling me back to go write a report.
No.
What, 10 days after a cesarean? It wouldn't have happened. But that's why I say that you are the last man or last woman standing. Where others, your team members cannot go, you must go. Because you are responsible for everybody else. Or you must go. So that was a big learning experience. And and that time I actually didn't go on maternity leave. With my first baby, I was able to go on maternity leave. I got my dad to stand in for me. I got my dad to stand in for me. So I was able to take 4 months off. With the second one, I couldn't. I had to work. And so the 10 days off was really my 10 days of peace. The rest of the time, at best I could take maybe 3 or 4 days off, or I'd say this week I'm not coming in, and take maybe that week off. But that was
really
one or two out of the whole time. No, I didn't go on maternity leave. I couldn't. There was no money. We were desperate for jobs, and so I had to work whether I liked it
or not.
And it was difficult. So last man standing, last woman standing. And related to this, my daughter didn't want, she didn't want anything to do with formula. She didn't even want expressed milk.
Hey, and she just said she is
direct,
tethered to your
direct. And it was difficult because like I told you, I couldn't take time off. I couldn't. Yes. And so she was losing weight. She used to cry all the time. If I left her at home with expressed milk, she wouldn't drink it.
She wouldn't drink it.
And then, so my mother advised me to build my timetable around her feeding times. And luckily for me, I live about 15 minutes away from my office. So I'd feed her in the morning, go to the office around maybe 9 or 9:30, come back at lunchtime,
Feed
I would
her.
express milk, but she wouldn't drink it. Come back at lunchtime, breastfeed, go back to the office, come back around maybe 3:30 or 4 and breastfeed again. If I had work to do, extra work to do, then because when I started having, I decided I was going to try as much as possible not to bring work home,
Work home.
but that's impossible.
As an entrepreneur, that's definitely impossible. That's not even a thing.
That's impossible. So I'm an insomniac.
Oh.
That's why we've been chatting at 1 and 2 a.m.
In the morning. I'm like, man, what time is it in Ghana right now?
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
It's 2 a.m. for her, but she's up.
Yes, but
Wow.
I was trained well for that because in grad school in Ohio, you remember when you were reading my bio, you said that I had a master's in communication studies from Legon, and I did my thesis. I collected my data and everything, and I did my thesis in the US.
Wow.
On a different program. So my first 2 courses, we run the quarter system then. At Ohio, they run the quarter system. So 10 weeks. You blink and you are writing mid-sems. You blink and you are writing finals.
Hey.
So the agreement with my parents was that I was not going to work. But my mom insisted that my mom's a tiger mom. She insisted that I finish that master's because I was ready to let it go. I was fed up with it. I was tired. I was starting a new program in the US. I didn't want anything to do with it. She ensured that I did.
That you did it.
So after my lectures, my assignments, I was a graduate assistant. So after my graduate assistantship work, I'd go home, sleep for maybe about 4 hours, sit up, wake up, and work on my thesis for the Legon one. Yeah, so I finished it within my first 2 quarters. I didn't need an extension. I didn't take an extension to finish my thesis. I think I was about the second person to submit. So by end of January, or was it beginning of February of 2007, I had already submitted the thesis here in Ghana, and I was carrying 18 credit hours in OU. 18 credit hours. I took classes in thesis writing because I realized I needed help with my thesis and to make things much easier to do. So 18 credit hours. Still sleep for. There were times, especially when I was writing my finals, there were times when I'd have in a 24-hour period, I'd have 5 minutes of sleep, 10 minutes of sleep. In a 26-hour period, 30 minutes of sleep, because I was determined to finish this thesis, get it out of 26 hours, 30 minutes of sleep. Yeah. So an insomniac. It really helped me when I came back and I had to lead my team members to put in extra work. If it meant sitting up all night to finish the job, we did that, and I was there with them. So you know that I'm going to be there. You don't have an excuse. Me now, I'm there with you. So why are you not?
Why are you not?
And I'm not sleeping. I am watching. I'm coming in. I'm reviewing, giving you comments, and so on. Just trying to show the point that excellence does not come easy.
It does not.
A lot of hard work.
Yes.
A lot of hard work. So
and no matter
someone
what
will see you
say, like, oh, and I think you were about to say that,
yes, I was going to say that. So someone will see you and say, oh, everything is so easy for him.
Life is made.
Even where a company or something is handed over to you, if you don't work hard, it will go down.
It will go down. And
whatever is bequeathed to you, you are given $1 million. If you do not find a way of making that money work, you are going to lose all of it.
Yes.
So it's come at a big price. It's come at a big price. A lot of hard work. Sometimes I still work throughout the night, especially when I'm proofreading or editing. We do 2 brochures for SMQ, one for the launch, one for the finals. And the one for the finals includes includes information on the semi-final, which is held 2 days before the final. So we do the brochure, we include all of this proofreading, editing, printing. So when we do it in Kumasi, like we've done these past 2 years, we print in Accra, and it is brought by air on the morning of the program. Yes,
Let me tell
because
you, all these mini stories and deep stories that Anika is sharing, and for the young adults that are watching, I really hope you're taking something with you on that. We're in the era where everybody, and their mother and father is an entrepreneur. We're all working for, at least in America, would say, oh, we're working for Big Brother, but we have a side hustle. If you're not putting in the work for your side hustle, you man, and she's right. Sometimes people would look at you, you're doing something, they see you either, Nanekia, she's, on TV promoting NSMQ or something, and just by you seeing her, we've been talking this year, our theme is the power of a single story, or really the dangers of a single
story.
minded
Yes.
story. We never ever take time to kind of look at the 360 of a person's life. We just see one facet and we think everything is okay with them, and we don't know what they're going through. Just imagine what she just like the harrowing experience she had to go through. But on air, all we see is MSMQ, and we're cheering for our schools, and there's we get involved in the Jama sessions. She really revamped it, you know what I mean? And we're very excited. There's thousands of people, but when we lose one frame, like internet connection or something, we go crazy and we think, what is the nuclear doing? And we don't know. We don't know what we don't know. So I'll ask for grace, especially, not that women are the weaker sex, because my goodness, we are not. But grace for people who've taken over companies from parents or uncles or aunties, however they took over, should not even matter as much, but give grace. Don't look at someone driving in your purple car and think they have it made. You don't know how much work they had to put in to get that purple car.
Right.
Or that they have a party and a sheep is killed and you think, oh my God, they must be rich. You don't know what she had to do to get the sheep. There's just so many lessons in here. And Nana, I just want to take time to say thank you for taking time and being gracious with us and just joining us and sharing these stories. You guys have been amazing. Man, you held your audience captive today. We're all still in here, just, A Rebel says, well done, Maya. She has little sister in air.
Yes, I was a year behind her at Wesley Girls.
We are all proud of you. Live pure. Wow, that's powerful.
Speak
live
true.
pure. Live pure. We're going to wrap up, today. It's so funny how we always say we don't have stories to share, but Nana, look at you.
Yes.
Look at you.
Yes.
I just saw Margin here. And so let me just segue into this. We are Africans and we love to tell stories. The way that we can put Africa on the map is to tell Africa stories well. This is one of them. Just see how Nana very eloquently shared the story of Abedi Pele, Ghana.
Ghana.
Just by living in excellence and doing something well. And so in that bid, we're also supporting every Ghanaian that is an entrepreneur and every African that is an entrepreneur. If you have two choices to buy something and an African has it, please buy from an African. That's how we keep money back on our continent. If there's a program you have to watch and one was produced by an African, watch the African show, please. Put up their numbers. Let's get intentional about these things. It's the only way we'll grow. The power of storytelling. In that vein, I want you guys to patronize Book Nook. Nana read Damwa and Kofi Akpabli are doing incredible things. They're taking over Africa and the world for that matter. Okay, so if there's any book you're looking for, even if you cannot find it on Book Nook, I guarantee you, if you reached out to Nana or just filled out a form on Book Nook, he'll get it to you in record time. So please, please look up Book Nook and you will not be disappointed. And another couple that's doing incredible things in the UK, Nigeria, and Uganda is Kunda Kids. They are, publishing books for African kids and they're telling African stories. We definitely want to get involved in that. I also want you to patronize. If I could find my cue cards, this would be so much easier. You know what I mean? But M. Sims is doing incredible. Kua by Designs is doing incredible. Clatural is doing incredible. Caveman Shoes, or is it? Yeah, I think it's Caveman Shoes or Caveman Horses, but Caveman Watches. Sorry, not horses. Horseman Shoes, Caveman Watches. There you go.
Yeah.
They're doing incredible things. Margie Marge has a show on Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. called Humanity Chats. When I say 7:30, I mean 7:30 p.m. EST, called Humanity Chats. You definitely want to patronize her and be on the show and just watch and be involved in what she's doing. Her new book, Conversations About Race or Around Race, is out. March, please, can you correct me whether it's out or it's about to be out? Another book that she just published is The Spelling King. I've read it, I loved it, and I'm thinking that we're definitely going to review it very, very soon on Author's Corner. We want to keep it home, okay? That's how other economies have grown. That's what we want to do, okay? So I want to take time to thank all of you. For those of you who donate to us every month, my goodness, thank you. Auntie B, thank you. Rose Machayo, Auntie Rose Machayo, thank you. Jane Fiorito, Auntie Araba, my goodness, you guys are just on point. Mr. EKD, these so I wear, during the summertime, I would have these cool t-shirts with words on them. Yeah. These are the people that are making it happen. Our executive producer, Mr. Emmanuel Sorogo, thank you so much. You, man, you keep the internet on, you keep the lights on, you keep everything on, right? To our show producers, Elsie Dixon, Yida Nakobigbila, Sedina Mavevo, I want to say thank you so much for being the power behind this. And I just get to be on here and kind of just smile and talk for a few minutes. I also want to say thank you to Sumaya. You're doing incredibly well, being in the background, handling communications and all incredible things. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Guys, we're getting to the end of the show. Nana Akua, I would give you a few minutes to kind of wrap up the show for us. What would be the last thing you would tell your younger self or another young person that is out there?
I would tell them that no experience is useless. No experience is useless. I would tell them to work hard, because when they say that, that quote about burning the midnight oil, that the heights that men, great men attained and so on, they talk about the midnight oil. It's so true. It's so true. Wow. You have to work hard.
You have to work hard.
I'm a firm believer in this quote. I've forgotten who said it, but it says, hard work beats talent where talent does not work hard.
Ooh, this is the second time I'm hearing that.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. I fully believe and agree with that. So, to my younger self, I'd tell my younger self that I think I did good. I did sports. I was serious about my academics. Even at the university, I did other social stuff. I went clubbing. I did all the things. Yes, I didn't want to be a one-track person, and I think that I'd probably do those same things again. I'd tell my younger self to travel and see the world in a different perspective, do a lot more traveling, be a lot less hard on myself.
Have grace for yourself.
Be a lot less hard on myself. Ask for help more often.
Yes. Wow. And I think Noaki would definitely want you to say something in French before we sign off. Just say thank you for joining to my younger self in French, and then we're good.
Oh my goodness, where do I start from? Okay.
Wow.
Merci beaucoup à tout le monde pour votre attention. Et j'espère que peut-être une fois dans l'avenir, on peut nous rejoindre, okay, I have to think about what I'm saying. I don't get an opportunity to practice.
Whatever you said it good. Okay, Noaki just said yes.
On se verra plus tard. Une autre fois, on se verra plus tard.
Wow. Well, with that, guys, what an exceptional morning it has been. Thank you, guys, for joining us. For everyone in the audience, we want to take time to say thank you. Professor Audrey, I'm not sure what you just said, but I believe you. Noaki says, I understand all that. Thank you, Nanakia. It has been a wonderful time with you, Nanakia. Thank you for joining us.
I've had fun.
Yes, I have had an incredible time too. And now, as I always say, I'm famous by proxy because, I had digits. I could just reach out. But you know what, guys? My name is Zoe Baraka. The show is To My Younger Self. Once again, thank you. Next week, we'll be here with the incredible Umaru Sanda Amadu, and he'll be here sharing his stories with us. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Israel, kama Egypt, kaja Ethiopia, kaja Sudan, waja shong. Kaja Ikushima, wani me kona me waja shong. So Timbuktu, Ghana, Mali, Sumanguru, waja shong. Waja jage, waja shong. Timbuktu, Ghana, Mali, Sumanguru, waja shong. Manchester key, Sumanguru, walk where they get, waja shong.